Studies show that 80% of the things in our home are only used 20% of the time. And further studies show that 75% of us have things in our home that we have not used, touched, or even seen for over a year. If that's you, you're not alone. Over the past several years, I have decluttered my house. I have learned how to be more intentional with the things that I am using, but I am far from perfect. In the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, he talks about 4 laws of behavior change. He says that you need to make your behavior changes obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying.
What's interesting here is that everybody wants a transformation, right? Everybody wants a radical improvement, want rapid success. But we fail to realize that small habits and little choices are transforming us every day already.
These very important 4 behavior changes have helped me in discovering 9 habits that help me to declutter my home and keep it decluttered throughout the entire year. And this is one of those routines that you can create doing a 5 to 10 minute tiny declutter that can be that stabling factor even when our lives are changing. These daily tiny declutters may seem very insignificant, but they have a massive impact on our lives, even just picking one drawer in our kitchen or one basket in our room and decluttering that for 5 to 10 minutes is going to make a huge impact in the overall feeling of our house. Just imagine doing a tiny declutter every day for 360 days and how many possible things that you could be decluttering out of your home during those small sessions. The 1-year rule was something that really helped me when I was decluttering my wardrobe and my shoes, my accessories, but also those hobbies we have around our house. Thinking about when is the last time that I really touched this item and used it for the purpose that I needed it for. If you have a bunch of sweaters, which used to be my kryptonite, I realized that there was a large portion of them that I never wore. I just liked to look at them, but they didn't feel right or they were a little too tight. So really assessing, am I keeping this stuff just because I like to look at it and have that security of knowing I have all this stuff? Or am I keeping it because I'm actually using it? This was something that was very revolutionary for me as somebody who was a shopaholic, bought things constantly all of the time. A big change of perspective I had to have when it came to this rule is I had to change my brain when it came to having things. I was hardwired as a shopaholic that if I had everything possible out there, every trend out there, that somehow my life would feel more like it was in control, that I would have the right thing when I needed it. But what I actually found to be so true is that even though I had everything I could possibly have wanted, 1, it was hard to find, and 2, it was so overwhelming that it gave me anxiety as opposed to relief. Now, decluttering by category is not revolutionary. It's something that if you've ever watched Marie Kondo videos, she talks about decluttering by category. Picking a category like your books or your socks or just your shoes can really help you to focus in on exactly that object with putting up blinders to everything else. This really helps me when I am feeling very overwhelmed, especially in the beginning, and I had so many things to declutter. If I went into a room and I just tried to take everything out, my brain didn't have enough space to answer all the questions, right? But if you really decide to declutter one object at a time, like I've done this with my mom, decluttering her books, or just her jeans, one thing at a time, categories can help you to let go a little bit easier, to make a better assessment of how much you have. If you're taking everything from around your house just in that category, putting it in one section, you can really see the volume that you have around your house. So the last one you're gonna have to wait for because it is my absolute favorite decluttering habit that really helped me in the beginning when I had a lot to declutter. My name is Becky Truda. This is Minimal Ease. And if you like learning about minimalism and decluttering, then this is the community here for you. And if you are already on a decluttering journey here with us, then throw a heart emoji down below. But the next one is to use really smart solutions for the things we end up keeping. One of the things that I have found in my bathroom in particular is that with my ADHD probably and being overstimulated by the closet in the bathroom, I found that I would just throw everything in there and then be very overwhelmed, not find what I'm actually looking for. I had tons of towels, tons of sheets that I just wasn't using, but I had stuffed in that closet, right? That's what we do. Just stuff things in. If it fits, great. But what I have found is that having smart baskets that really help me to assess how much I have, and having bins in that closet in particular has really helped me to make sure I'm not exploding with the supply I'm bringing in. So say medicine, I have a basket for medicine only, and I do not allow the medicine to go outside of that given basket. I always know what I have in there because I have a smaller supply of just necessities. The bins have also helped me in the bathroom because I have one for towels. I have another one for sheets. And so if it doesn't fit in that bin, that is the signal to me that I don't need to get more. It really helps me when I'm going out shopping and we might find those really cute set of sheets, or we find a really soft towel and we start assessing, do I need this? It's so great. It's going to change my life. But having a really smart organizational storage solution can help to click in your brain, oh, wait, the basket's full. Oh, yeah, last week I bought this set of sheets, so I don't need any more. The basket is full. At least it really helped me. How crazy is my hair? Woo! The next one is to ask yourself some really good, hard questions. Not only when you're decluttering, but also when you are out in the world, right? And you are thinking about buying something. I want you to have a Rolodex in your brain or on your phone in the Notes app of rules that you go by when you're buying things and the questions you ask yourself before you get it. This is something that really helped me in the beginning to slow down my constant need and want to buy things. When I was overbuying at a rate that was just outrageous and I felt like I had no self-control. I used to have a rule where if I needed to go to Target to run in to get one thing, I, one, wasn't allowed to get a shopping cart, and two, I wasn't allowed to go down any aisles that I didn't absolutely have to. I wasn't veering off and going to the clothes aisle. I wasn't going to the dollar spot, because what I found is that Target is smart, right? Like, they put those things in the front because they know they are distracting and they start to make us forget why we were there in the first place. We see the shiny, fun things, we see the cheap things, and we think, oh, this would be helpful. Let's just throw this in too. It's cheap and fun. But I didn't need those things. I already had a lot of things. Creating rules where I had to ask myself maybe 3 questions before I was allowed to put in my cart, or I could put it in my cart, but I had to walk all the way around the store again and see if I really needed it, or evaluating even how much this was going to cost me. If I had to work and I made $20 an hour, this object that's $30, how many hours am I going to have to work to buy this object? And then that you really start processing, oh, I don't actually need this. Oh, maybe it's not really worth it. So let's not forget our digital clutter, which I could create a whole video about digital clutter because I have had a lot. But if you asked my husband several years ago, he would tell you that I had over 20 or 30,000 emails in my inbox, and it drove him absolutely crazy. But for me, it was one of those things that I just pushed to the back. And finally tackling that, I didn't realize how much anxiety it actually gave me until I gave it space to declutter it. So once I decluttered all those emails, it made me realize that I don't want all this extra stuff coming in my life, because the emails a lot of times were coming from places like stores that were trying to give me their best sales. And then I get FOMO and want to go figure out, maybe I did want that thing now because it's on sale. But if we unsubscribe from all of the stores and we unsubscribe from the people like on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook that aren't actually making us be the person we want to be, it's a huge relief. Now we're going to set some decluttering goals. So I want you to go ahead and get out a piece of paper. And at the top, I want you to write decluttering goals. And I want you to think about, or even get up and do a tour of your house. What part of your house is still bothering you? Where do you feel that maybe things are too tight, or you feel like the space isn't functioning right? Maybe your furniture is too big, or you have too much, or maybe your bin for your shoes and where your clothes go is just exploding and you couldn't close the drawer anymore. So I want you to make a schedule of those things that you feel like are places in your house you're not happy with. What I like to do is schedule in then days and times that I know will work, because in creating habits, we want to make sure that it's an obvious thing we need to do and that the task seems attractive. So it's not too big, it's not too much. Picking one drawer isn't so overwhelming. We also want to make sure that it's an easy task, so small, and also we want to make sure it's attractive. So at the end of it, taking all of those clothes out is going to make us feel better when we can close that drawer so much easier, right? Or in the kitchen, which was a big one for me, clearing out all those things that weren't working for me and were just extra clutter helped me to feel more confident in the kitchen. Actually, having less things in the kitchen made me want to be in there more, which for me felt counterintuitive, right? If I had every gadget in the world, it would be better in the kitchen. But for me, it just isn't. Simple is better. But if you're still struggling and you're having a hard time decluttering, especially the big areas like garages and attics, things like that, then see if you can reach out for a friend. If talking to somebody else, even if it's talking to somebody on this community right here, where you can maybe get some advice about the things that you're going through and throwing a comment down below and getting feedback, is going to help you to think through those processes even more. Because the more times that you really get to talk to people that are like-minded, talk to people that actually want to help you on this journey, the easier it's going to be at the end of the day to get rid of the things that you just don't need. And finally, like I told you, the best thing that I want you to start right now is to create a maybe bin. So if you are decluttering things and you get stuck and then you give up, what really helped me, especially when I was in my closet and in the kitchen, was to create a maybe bin. So I had a big box. I would put things in there that made me anxious to get rid of. When I got rid of a lot of the dishes in my kitchen, and I just wasn't sure, what if I need them next week and I don't have all these dishes, was knowing in my brain, oh, it's out of this area. It's cleared my space up and I can feel an immediate relief of having all those excess things gone. But I don't have to deal with the immediate anxiety of the what if. I can deal with that after I've assessed, maybe in a month, that, oh, I never went upstairs and I never went through any of those things. Also really helped me in my closet. I was worried for a long time that if I got rid of a bunch of stuff, I would regret it and rebuy it, because that was things I did for years, right? I'd get rid of things that I didn't really like, and then I'd go buy something that was very similar. But having the maybe bin really helped me to say, okay, I've never gone back to this black trash bag. I've never gone back to this closet. I don't need the things in it. So I can go in there immediately and I can get rid of all of it because it's been a month, 2 months, 3 months, and I've never touched it. But also, I can go in there and I can look through it again. And if I find a few things that I'm still anxious about, I can keep them in that closet and it's okay. And I can keep decluttering and I don't have to get stuck on the things that are making me anxious. I can just keep moving. And as I learn more, I do better. Don't freak out if you can't get rid of things. Just say later on, if I know better than I know right now, I can do better and I can declutter it. All right, friends, I hope that was helpful. And if you have enjoyed this video and you are ready to continue your journey and you are ready to have a good community that's going to build you up on your minimalist journey, then go ahead and watch another one of these videos right here and keep decluttering, my friends. I'll see you again soon.